welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm getting ready to go to a bridal shower, so I thought we could do a get ready with me while I chat a little bit about this week. I did film clips this week to like for the vlog, but honestly the week has just been so manic. I'm actually not sure if any of the clips I have are very useful or cohesive, so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna sit down and do a chat get ready with me and I can explain what the heliante has been going on this week. Skin is prepped and ready to go, so let's get into it. So yeah, basically I have a pop-up that I'm a part of in South London next week, and I nearly didn't make it. I nearly had to pull out because the manufacturer that I was working with to make the products in time for the pop-up, he wasn't working with me, you know what I mean? I was working, but he wasn't working with me. And to be fair, it's been a thing where it's like, I started the process with this manufacturer like months ago, so it's not even a thing where it's like, it was super last minute. I thought I had loads of time, but I do think this is just kind of like the reality of working with suppliers, especially when it's your first time, or since it's my first time. I think there's a lot I didn't know, and I definitely didn't account for the fact that it was just going to take a long time. Like, I don't even feel like I need to get into how much plol means to me, but because of that, there's just a certain standard and quality that I'm just not going to settle for. I've already come up with particular designs and colours and a look and feel that I want for plol, and so for me, working with a manufacturer, it's like, I need you to get this really right. Like, there's just certain things that aren't going to run. Also, I think for me, I'm thinking that this is a good opportunity to partner with someone to kind of be the supplier for this, someone I'd love to work really closely with, someone to bring this to life and to kind of just, yeah, like really have a good relationship with my supplier. And yeah, this first run hasn't been the greatest. Communication has been crazy at times, and I know that there's like language barriers and obviously cultural differences, but I do think that when it comes to like doing international business, like especially having worked in international companies myself, like I think there's just an element of like courteousness, an element of courteousness that I think just like should be general across the board, and it's just something I'm not super like I'm actually willing to compromise on. So that was probably my first red flag that I ignored, was just like communication was brazy. Like, how are you messaging me at 3 a.m. and being upset that I'm not responding? But anyway, outside of that, I was always trying to be very, very prompt with my communication, and just being really clear and specific on what I wanted, and what I was looking for. We did do a sample run, so it wasn't like I hadn't seen the bowls at all, but what we didn't do was a sample run of the logo, and I think that's definitely where the issues were. Because plols are handmade and because they are a very, very artisanal kind of product, it's really important to have someone who can actually replicate the technique. Side note, didn't realise that my handwriting was such a flex, but apparently it is. So anyway, I got, at the beginning of this week, I'm waiting for the bowls to come in. I'm getting pictures and getting updates. I've communicated when I need the bowls by, and I could just tell like already at the beginning of this week that they just weren't going to come. So I'm thinking to myself like, okay, what am I going to do? Like, I should probably just cancel. And as much as obviously I know that's not good to be flaky, I really just don't want to put out something I'm not happy with or something I'm not proud of. And I think in these early stages of brand building, I think like the experience people have with the brand is like more important than like rushing something to meet a deadline. And so I didn't want things to come that I hadn't signed off on. I didn't want to kind of promise a certain look or particular kind of thing for what people could buy if that's not what they were going to get. So it's the beginning of the week and these bowls are not looking like they're going to come. So I'm thinking like, I've got to think of my feet here. I've got to think of what to do. And genuinely, like, I actually prayed about it because I was like, God, help me. And I was looking in my cupboard and I realized that there were some bowls that I painted from earlier this year that I never actually took to the kiln. And also I have some leftover stock from the last drop. So I was like, oh my gosh, amazing. I can use this for the pop-up. So I basically painted like the remaining few bowls, did a few more designs. I actually was trialing some new bowls, some cereal bowls as well earlier this year, but I think look good. And yeah, I will be bringing them to the pop-up next week. So that was definitely like a midnight hour kind of like solution, which I was so happy about, because yeah, I needed something to go right. But in the meantime, I was like, okay, I was still kind of, I guess, maybe hoping that something was gonna happen with these bowls, and I was basically magically gonna get them in time for this pop-up. The bowls still aren't here, so that's not gonna be happening. But I think it's fine. I think finding the right manufacturer is just more important. This is nearly finished, which is why I'm scraping out the bowl like this. Finding the right manufacturer is just more important to me. So I'm willing to kind of just like focus on working with that manufacturer relationship, and I have a solution for this pop-up, which is great. However, I think like the other thing that really came to light for me this week was, yeah, the importance of emotion regulation in business. I don't know, maybe it isn't, maybe it is, maybe it isn't spoken about enough. All I know is that I want to speak about it. For me, I've really felt like I have to handle my emotions and my emotional capacity differently to other people. And I think so long as I'm able to produce and so long as I'm able to be productive, then it doesn't matter to me if other people don't understand my process. I'm just trying to be responsible for how I manage myself. But I know that like during my cycle, when I get close to my period, my emotions are a lot harder to manage, and I find that I can sometimes I find it really hard to focus. Sometimes I find it hard to be like on top of my job as I do like maybe like the first week after my period or something like that. And so I hate it when I have seasons where like that time collides with when I've got like a big deadline or like a busy thing. But I can't always plan these things, especially not when I'm working 2 jobs. I can't always be like, okay, well, I'm not going to do any deadline related tasks because I'm PMSing. Like, it just doesn't work that way. I remove opportunities for myself because of that. So that's why emotion regulation has been really important to me, obviously, on top of the fact that it is just good to regulate your emotions, to be able to like know yourself and know what's like for you. So working 2 jobs and trying to launch a business, I think it just really came to my attention that yeah, I just have to be super on top of what it is to manage my emotions at that time of the month, manage my productivity levels, yeah, how do I handle it? How do I shift my tasks around? And honestly, I feel like at first I was really bad at this. It's almost like I didn't know what was going on. Even though it happens every month. Is that not like so the way? You're like, why is this happening to me? It's like, sis, this has been happening every month for the last 15 years. I think this week was just a really good case in point of that for me. When everything was going on with this manufacturer, like I needed to find a solution, but everything in my body was so tired and like was finding it so hard to push through because it was so hard to think linearly and logically, and I was super tired. Like I was literally on the sofa trying to do the care instruction cards for parole, and I literally fell asleep, and then I woke up like, I think it was like 2 a.m. Oh my gosh, I've lifted up my edges. Gotta put them back down. Yeah, I woke up and it was like 2 a.m. and I was like, oh my gosh, I just fell asleep in front of my laptop doing this. Because yeah, my energy levels are just like all over the place right now. In times like that, the absolute last thing I need is to like add more pressure and stress to myself by being too harsh on myself. Because the other thing that I'm so going to do in that moment is be like, oh, well, you should do this and you should do that, and if you're serious about your goals, then you would do this. And it's like, that voice at that time of the month, literally don't need it. Like, don't need it. But yeah, this week I think it's just been like operation manage emotions whilst also navigating difficulty, and genuinely I think I've done a really good job. I've overcome. I ranted when I needed to rant, but I like used that as my like cathartic release, and then I got back to it because that's what you have to do. And I do remember like earlier on in my career or at different seasons of my life, I've not been able to push through in that kind of way. That's on therapy as well. Shout out to my therapist. It's a sign of growth, but I think it's also just a sign of readiness, really. I feel like I'm ready to operate at a different level because I have a different mindset when it comes to pushing through. But yeah, what I was saying at the beginning of this video, I think that pushing through looks very different to me now. I think before I used to think that I had to smile when I was going through difficulty, or I had to vent, and then I had to be like, but it's okay because da 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 da. And when I say like I used to feel like I have to do that, that's not what I did. But that's why I felt like I was supposed to do it, because that's what other people did. And I think that for like in a lot of ways that was a lot more palatable, because it's like I don't know, some people actually can't handle what you can handle, or maybe they can't handle what you're going through. So they kind of want to hear you out, but they also want to hear you say that you've got it. Sometimes I didn't. And I think as an external processor, I was very much someone that was like, I actually needed to talk it out in order to find work my way to the solution. And I needed a safe space to do that, even if I didn't necessarily have the answer yet, or I didn't have the positive mental attitude yet. You know those memes where it's like, I'm gonna cry, but I'm gonna get up and do it? That's me to a T. Like, crying is part of the process, honey. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Crying sometimes is part of the process. I may cry, I may complain, but I will get up and do it, because I'm going to not do it. No, I've got dreams and goals to achieve. Do you know what I mean? Like, I will be doing it. I just may also be complaining. I don't think I'm unique in that, but I think it's just something that I have to know about my... This is nearly finished, and they haven't restocked it, and that's an absolute tragedy. But anyway, yeah, this is something that I learned about myself, but I really have seen come into play in a completely different way with Plol and this season of my life. It's kind of like what I call the messy middle. It's like the part in the film where you're like, how's the hero gonna make it out of this like tough spot? The hero's gonna make it out. It's just the messy middle. Yeah, I've been really learning to like give myself grace, learn how to like understand and recognize like the rhythms of my month, the rhythms of my body, the rhythms of my mind, my mental health, how to look after myself, how to speak to myself. And don't get me wrong, I'm not always good at it, but I've definitely got better, and I've definitely kind of recognized when I'm like, okay, like this is just not the time to be beating ourselves up. This is the time to be like, okay, I need a little extra grace, I need a little like minute. This one's going to be a little bit of a tough one, but we're going to make it through. I feel like I haven't done like a proper beat in ages. I have no clue what eyeshadow I want to do today. My well-loved Pro Artistry book. Love her. So yeah, I think one of the big wins of this week not only was working out that I actually could make the pop-up, but it was managing to move through this week with grace and move through this week with, yeah, patience with self, knowing that like the slumps that I've been in aren't going to take me out, that I can actually see the light at the end of the tunnel, and understanding that actually it's just part of my process. Such a big win for me. Where are we at now? Well, the pieces are in the kiln. I actually love my kiln lady so much. She's so just cool and fun. They're with her in the kiln. They should be ready to pick up tomorrow, which is great. The pop-up is on Monday. It's Saturday today when I'm filming this. And so yeah, I will have something in time. Hopefully I'll be able to include a clip of what the pieces look like for this drop. And yeah, continuing to grow and glow. I think I'm gonna go for a tiny little kind of gold cinnamony shimmer on my eyes. It's a little yellow, and I would way prefer if it was a bit orangey. But yeah, I'm gonna keep it close to my, just like the center of my eyes, because I feel like it always makes them like pop. I'm looking at that Morphe one, and I'm like, I know you're looking back at me like I should use you, but girl, sometimes you're just a little bit too bright. So instead I'm gonna go with like chai, yeah, chai from this palette, and just orange it out a little. I am like going out in the day, so like I don't want to do too much. I always do this, I say that, and then it's like, I remember one time I did like such a nice fireball, like fire eyes look. I need to do that again one day, because I've not got over it since the day I did it. I'm nearly done, but I forgot that I wanted to show you this new brand that I found. Went to a African fashion pop-up a couple of months ago, and I found a sunglasses brand that I really, really liked, and I said to myself, when I get the cash, I'm gonna buy, because yeah, I wanted to support the brand. And it's so easy to be like, oh, I can't afford it, but it's like, what if you save up, hun? This is the brand, it's called Oju Ayo. The woman that founded it is Nigerian. She's Black British, but I believe she's Nigerian. And how cute is this tote bag? I love a good tote bag. So it's like a good size. Absolutely put my laptop in that, so that's a big one. So obsessed with this packaging. Look, it's upside down. Look. Yeah, we love an embossed moment. Got a couple stickers in here, which is nice. Look at the case. First thought, this would make a really good clutch. Right, ready? Moment of truth. Should I do it this way? Okay, I can't because it's quite wrapped up. Let me open them and then I'll show you. How cute are these? Like, I just think they're so, I obviously can't put them on because of this. I think they're so stylish. I think they're so stylish. This is what they look like in their box. Just stun, absolutely stun. Okay, here is my finished look. It's so hot in here. I just put on a little bow, which has been like my absolute favorite thing lately. But yeah, like I said, I'll stitch some clips of things that have happened this week. My big takeaway from this week is just, battles will come, overcoming them is the job. But well done for regulating your emotions, and I will see you next week.